The following is an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.
IceRaiders.com, Royal Sports, and Earl's Kitchen and Bar Winnipeg present the Fourth Line Hockey Show.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm your host, Willie Plouffe. I'm here with Greg Haasbeek back in the barn at Royal Sports Shop on Pembina Highway. You know what? Today's guest, we got Kurtis Keats coming in. You know, Winnipeg boy. I've coached him in hockey. He's ex-chief. We have all the guys. We got Zajac, Stoig, Bowie. A lot of the guys on. But this guy, he played in MJ here, junior in Winnipeg for the Blues. Shifted off the BC. Got himself a nice ride this year. Going to the States on a scholarship. You know what? Good kid.
Yeah. So why are you wearing St. Louis Blues?
You know what? I'm wearing the Blues just because of the fact that I just finished playing the Battle of the Badges and we had Wayne Babbage on our team. So Wayne was on our squad, and you know, we lost to Patrolman in the semifinals. It was a pretty good tournament. And Babsy, good. You know what? Fun playing with you, buddy.
I'm wearing Minnesota because I heard a good one today. They were talking about how the fans are going crazy. Have you watched any of those games?
Yes.
But the guy, it was a guy from one of the beat writers for the paper there. I think it was the St. Paul Star Tribune. And he goes, our fans are going crazy. They're not quite Winnipeg Jet crazy.
Is that what he said?
It's exactly what he said. So I thought, can you imagine once Winnipeg gets in the playoffs?
Oh, the barn will be rocking. You know, today's guest, like we talked about, Kurtis Keats, you know, he played junior in Winnipeg. You know, he played for the Donnie McGilvery at the Blues. Now he's playing Powell River in BC. Made the jump, the crossover to the BC because a lot of opinion going on that, you know, there's more scouts out there and guys getting more rights. And your nephew, Parker Thomas, great player, another great player. Maybe Parker would have went that way. He might be also he's getting opportunities now, maybe a little bit more.
I got some good stories about Powell River later.
Oh, boy. Off-air stories?
Probably.
Okay, that's a good call. Fourth line is going to break off. When we come back, we're going to bring in Kurtis Keats, talk a little bit about his hockey career, what's going on, his scholarship to UB, all the good stuff. Talk to you. Back at Royal Sports here with my winger, Greg Haasbeek. Before we went off air, we talked about our guest, Kurtis Keats, coming in. You know, the guy's played in Winnipeg, like we said, Winnipeg boy, playing out west now in the BC League. Let's bring him in. Come on in, Kurtis Keats. Welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show, kid.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Kurtis, this is not your first time on the show. We went back, you know, 2 years ago. Two years ago, I think, was you playing for the Blues, right?
Yeah, 2 years I played 16-17 with Don McGilvery in the Blues there.
Right, and when you were on the show. But, you know, Kurtis, like all our guests, we want you to tell us a little bit where you played hockey, where you played your AAA, your junior, and what you're doing now. Yeah,
I grew up playing for the Varsity View Falcons in Charleswood there, and then I played for the Assiniboine Park Rangers, and then the Monarchs and the Wild, and then 2 years with the Blues, and then in August I got traded out to Powell River in the BC there.
Now, the BC, how's that been treating you this year?
Yeah, you know, it's a really competitive league. It's a really deep league. Nice to see some new country, too, for sure. You know, lots of exposure out there NCAA-wise, so it was a really good year.
Now, Kurtis, can you tell us a little bit about Powell River? Like, where is it, you know, from Vancouver? Whereabouts are you located where people don't know where it's at? Because you're pretty far west.
Yeah, you know, it's a small market team and obviously a small town. It's about 20,000. It's just north up the coast from Vancouver. From Vancouver, you got to take 2 ferries, and then it's just one ferry over to the island there. So it's a good spot, you know, a really good junior hockey town. It's a lot different playing junior hockey in a small town versus, you know, a city. You kind of realize that in a small town, people, you know, care a lot more about the team, and, you know, we get pretty good fans. So, you know, it's awesome.
How many fans would you get usually?
We averaged around 850, so pretty good. I
more
mean,
than, well, you know, more than the Blues.
Yeah, with the Blues,
town of 750,000.
Yeah, with the Blues, you know, we got good crowds some nights, but it varied. You know, not tops of the league. I think Penticton's probably up there with about 4,000 a night, but, you know, kind of middle of the league, so it was great.
What was the shortest road trip?
The shortest road trip would be to, you know, a place like Nanaimo or Cowichan or Port Alberni there. But, you know, every time we play on the road, we have to stay the night. So it's pretty expensive, for the team, and but it's good, lots of community support.
Any of the kids go to school?
Yeah, there's a little Vancouver Island University has a little kind of school there in Powell River, so it's good. But we got a couple high schoolers too, only 2 this year. So
It'd be hard to go to school and play on that team with all the road trips.
Yeah, for sure. Every like I said, every time we go on the road, we have to stay the night, and it gets to be pretty grueling near the end of the season.
What's the longest road trip?
Longest road trip would be Prince George. So you play teams out of your division 2 times, once on the road, once at home. So when we hit Prince George there, we hit it on a Sunday, and it's through Vancouver, and then drove all night, made it to the ferry terminal, and slept on the bus there for a couple hours, and then hit the ferry home.
Now, you're talking about the ferry now. Could you give us a little bit what, on a game day situation like that, you got to be mentally prepared, but also it's a long haul, isn't it? Give us a little bit of scenario. So you got game day, going to that town, what happens?
Yeah, so an average Friday night, we'd catch the ferry at around 9 a.m. out of Powell River. Say we were playing on the island, we would get to the resort or hotel we're staying at. We usually stay at pretty nice hotels right on the ocean there. And then we get there around noon, pregame meal at 3 o'clock, and then have the game. And usually we play a lot of 3-and-3s just because of our situation and how much it costs to take the ferry and stuff. So yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big road trip, Beeks. Like, it's kind of like traveling to Thunder Bay a little bit and back.
I heard the MJHL this year, or for next year, is going to one division because of how the city or the ones near the city, we're all high point getters in the season, and it seemed like, I guess that's what the Sherwood division and the Addison division, there's a lot of the bottom feeders, and they don't have to deal with ferries. They just got to deal with winter a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
Kurtie, how in your town there, you talked a little bit about your team there. How was, obviously the management's great, and how about your trainers? You got any stories about your trainers?
Yeah, our trainer's a great guy. He's the ex-assistant, actually, from the New York Rangers, and he's just an awesome guy. Everybody can talk to him about anything, and he really cares about everybody, and it's great to have guys like that in the locker room. Yeah,
Kurtie, being from Manitoba, playing there, do they? I'm not going to say they treat you any different. You're a player, but is there? You have people to talk to? They have an outlet if you need to talk to somebody. Are you calling home, or what's going on?
Yeah, the first couple weeks was tough. You never know what it's going to be like moving away from home, right? Especially at 18. A lot older than some guys, going to the dub at 16 and stuff. But, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I had really good billets, great. And so, billets can really make or break your junior experience. So I was really lucky.
Did you light up the food bill there?
The food bill, yeah. No, I think they get a couple $100 a month and, gift cards or whatever to the grocery store. So
when we were in BC, our food bill was massive. Mike Arlbach and I lit up the kitchen. We ate like champs. I think they had to ask the team for more money.
Oh, well, I don't want to talk about all the things that you've costed people.
Oh, nice. Now, also, Kurtie, we got to talk, you talked a little bit about, we got to share this story. I think this story is awesome. You talked about playing Varsity View, and I think your partner who's here tonight, Nick Zajac, who plays for Blades, has been on our show before. I think it was the Varsity View tournament or the Phoenix tournament when you guys were squirts or little guys, when one of the coaches threw sticks on the ice. Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, obviously it was Nicky's home tournament there. I think his dad was actually running the tournament, and my dad was coaching the Falcons there, and it was, Nick and I had some pretty good battles, and I think, Nick's dad there was, trying to pull some strings with the scoring or something like that, and, my dad didn't take it too lightly.
And so Kurtie's dad throws the sticks on the ice at little squads, and then they're going back. I think they were 6 or 7. Throws the sticks on, but it's awesome because years later, Grandma Zajac is sitting at dinner at Zajac's, and she says, "I recognize that fellow. You're the guy that threw the hockey sticks on the ice." And this is going back like 12 years ago.
All right, let's get some more important things.
I think that was awesome. So I had to share that story.
You told us that you're going to be playing for the Minutemen in a couple of years.
Yeah, University of Massachusetts. So I committed 2 weeks ago, actually. So I was pretty relieved about that. I had some opportunities with some schools. I flew down and took a look, and University of Massachusetts was a really good fit. Nice rink, good school. I mean, they play in Hockey East, pretty good division, so pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'd be pretty excited. Free education.
Yeah, it's good. I was drafted to Moose Jaw when I was, I guess, 14. And, it was kind of, I didn't know what I was going to do for a while there. And, I made the Blues when I was 16. And, I really liked the Blues, good guys on the team, the coaching staff, and decided to stick it out there for 2 years. And it was good.
And, going to the college route, you still can play in the NHL.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's been 70 or 80 college guys signed as free agents, since
we're going to talk to Nicky later, and I don't think Nicky's going to the NHL next year or the year after, but now he's going to have to go and do it through the AHL or something like that. It's not like he hasn't, but you can still hone your skills as a little bit more mature person.
Yeah, I think that's a benefit of college hockey. I mean, there's arguments for both, right? But you're a little older, you get some more time to mature, and I think that'll hopefully help me. I mean, the Dubs, it's a man's league, and as a smaller guy, it would have been a big jump.
Well, he's holding his own, and you're doing great, playing in the BC there and getting a scholarship. And what, Beeks, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with Kurtis. We'll tweak him a little bit about his favorite team, his favorite player. Fourth Line Hockey Show will be right back at you. Oh, whoa. Before we break off, the quote of the day brought to you by my winger.
So I got one from Harry Sinden, the ex-GM of the Boston Bruins. He goes, what we need to change this series around? A few healthy scratches and a couple aspirins. I don't know.
Works for me. Fourth Line Hockey Show will be right back at you. Before we broke off, we talked a little bit, he gave the Cullen quote, and we talked a little bit about, comparing, going to the NHL from the Western League or else going the college route, and he's made a comment that Nick was not going next year, but we know because he's playing in the Western Hockey League this year. And explain yourself on that one.
Well, that route of, let's say, the Sidney Crosbys, the Patrick Marleaus that get drafted, the year that they're turning 18, or, September 15th to September 15th. And, those are few and far between. What, Vinny
Very
LeCavalier?
few, yeah.
But, those are it seems like very few kids in college hockey get drafted because they're going after they turn 18.
Yeah.
There's the very few cases of those too. Like, there's Mike Commodore, I know, who got drafted in college hockey, or Jonathan Tays. These are guys who went to maybe school a little bit early. But
the one goalie they missed, Andy Kohler.
Well, Andy Kohler. He never ever got drafted. But, he's a big proponent of college hockey, because he went there.
Yeah.
But I think if you can make it, you might as well make it quick. There's no sense spending 6 years before playing in the NHL rather than 3 or 4 years.
Making some big chunk.
But, it's different strokes for different folks. Like I said there, it's not too late for Kurt to make the NHL right now because he's going to have 4 years to prove himself in college hockey, and who knows? There's a lot of those guys his size now in the NHL, the Gallaghers of this word, Nathan Gerbe, and a lot of those guys do tend to come from college hockey.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's be honest. How many of those kids that go to the Dub, they get drafted, they might get their way to pro, but to the NHL, might be the goal. But who knows,
It's such a crapshoot. No matter what league you're in, it's like, I was talking to a scout the other day, and one of our good friends, Dougie Sinclair, and he's talking to the kids and the players are going, they're going to watch because he's Western Hockey League Pro, right? Because ever in that
he scouts for
That's right.
But I also like to think of Canada. I'm not cutting down the United States, but I'd rather our hockey stay in Canada. No one's going to college hockey thinking that that's the way to the NHL right now. Even though, there's Joel Ward who played University of Prince Edward Island, things like that. That happens too. But, I think our system's still pretty good. Like a lot of people say, maybe they need to quit taking 15-year-olds into the CHL. But there's Nathan McKinnon, or there's always going to be that star,
superstar. There's going to be one. guaranteed. And it's a tough route. Like it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
And
it's a long time.
Let's be honest that if you have a 4-year career in the WHL, you still get 4 years
of
schooling at a CIS school. You're going to get a great education, but you're not going to be the star there. Like I don't know what UMass is, but I know they're a basketball school, and I don't think do they even have a football program?
Yeah, actually, their basketball team made the tournament this year,
Yeah,
and they just got named to Division I football. So, they'll probably.
But
take
they're
the
known
Knicks
for
a
hockey as
couple
well.
years. Yeah, they draw good. They draw about 7,000 a night.
So you're gonna have fun there. Like you'll be
really
known
nice.
on campus.
Yeah, I flew out there, and
a few of the guys and a lot of the girls.
yeah, I flew out there, and it was a good time. A couple of the guys, well, the freshmen live in dorms, and then the guys move into a couple houses that all the hockey guys share, and I think they're pretty well liked out there by everybody.
I think that's a great call. I think the Fourth Line Hockey Show might have to do a tour out that way, Beeks?
Last time we went to U.S. College Town, what happened?
We had a great time. We won the championship. We took the cup home.
You got high stock though. You had broken nose.
I got it in a little. We had a situation.
High stock.
High stock. Yeah. Now, Kurtie, let's talk a little bit. Like all our players, we've asked. Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player. It's changed a couple times.
Joe Sakic ever?
No, never Joe
just
Sakic. Even though I got
the
Nordiques jersey on, but. I like the little guys, but I think Phil Kessel is my favorite player.
Phil Kessel. No, okay. Now let's go with the favorite team. We got to follow that up.
Well, I'm a Winnipeg boy, so I don't think that's a very, very tough question. Obviously a Jets fan since day one.
And now your sister Courtney is dating a hockey player also. Who's she dating?
Yeah, my sister dates Calvin Picardi. He's drafted by the Avalanche, and he plays in the American Hockey League for the Lake Erie Monsters.
Can you top shelf him?
Can I top shelf him? Yeah, we play each other in beer league a bit. He's a pretty good goalie, but
he's a Winnipegger as well.
Yeah, he's from Winnipeg. Him and his brother both. So I've snuck a couple past him, but he's a pretty good goalie.
I bet your dad doesn't light him up. Beer league. What else you got going on, Beeks?
What do you mean light him up?
Like pop. Like put the puck on top shelf. Where mommy hides cookies.
You know what? When you had a 18, 20-year-old boy dating your daughter, and he's a hockey player. You never know what you're saying there.
The shotgun.
Tea with Miss McGee.
Yes, tea with Miss McGee. Now, we talked a little bit about, Beeks, we talked a little bit about...
We'll explain it to you after.
Yeah, Kurtie.
There was a movie...
Yes, okay, here we go.
...called Youngblood.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Rob Lowe.
Yes.
Now, do you remember what Tea with Miss McGee is?
Yeah.
All right.
For all you young kids out there, you know what? Make sure you get your parents' authorization to watch that show. Okay, we're not promoting that. We're just saying Tea with Miss McGee. That's about it.
It's one of the better hocky movies.
It is very surprising. Patrick Swayze cutting a rug. Dirty
Keanu
dancing.
Reeves, the French goalie.
That's right. I forgot about the French goalie. Now, okay, Kurt, all-time favorite hockey show. Guaranteed. You got to give us the right one here.
All-time favorite hockey show? I've been a fan of the Fourth Line Hockey Show for
there we go.
a couple of years now. I like a lot of sporting shows. But PTI is probably my favorite, even though they talk a lot of hockey.
TSN or Sportsnet?
Slapshot. Come on, kid.
TSN or Sportsnet? I think TSN there. You got to go with that.
I've been at TSN, but now with that whole big change that Sportsnet's got all the broadcasting rights, it seems it's going to be weird.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. I've always been a CBC and a TSN kind of
But, you're going to have to switch
so.
from, to Kiprios, from, Drager or whatever. You're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, I think you might see some of those Sportsnet guys, maybe get canned as time goes on and lose
But
their
it seems
job
like
to
all those
some of that.
TSN guys just re-signed with TSN for
Yeah, that
long-term
is
contracts,
true.
so who knows?
We'll see.
Now,
Maybe the new Sportsnet guys in Winnipeg might be Willie Plouffe.
Well, hey, I got the looks. We always said you had a face for radio. Well, we're good to go. The Fourth Line Hockey Show. Whoa, a big side for the camera guy. Hey, like big Hampshire coming in, wearing his Vancouver Canucks hat again. Come on. Now, Kurtie, talking a little bit about seriousness for the young kids out there. We always talk to our guests about, for you training and that, what do you recommend for some young kids who, want to go to AAA, want to make it to junior? What do you recommend for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously summer hockey is great, and obviously enjoy that. And you don't have to play summer hockey either. I mean, as I got older there, I kind of got out of it a bit. But I mean, a lot of my best hockey memories are from summer hockey too. And then training, I mean, a lot of kids make the mistake of starting a lot too early. Like, you want to enjoy your summers, play some baseball, hang out with your friends. And, I don't think I started training until maybe my draft year. And, so just enjoy your summers and, don't, take some time off of hockey. It's key.
And that's so true. There's a lot of pressure going on with young kids. Like, I got a couple of stories that we're talking about Taggart's age, 11-year-old kids from their parents who have these guys on workout programs, nutritional diets at 11 years old. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Bobby Hull says to this day he still hasn't hit the gym.
And he had a great career.
He was one of the all-time best NHLers of all time. He just worked. He always says he worked hard on the farm, right?
Well, he was huge. His pipes, his forearms.
They say it. But, yeah, we all didn't do very much training back in the day because, like before Bo Jackson and this thing called cross-training, we did do all the sports. No one played summer hockey, really. We played baseball or soccer in the summer, so you worked out different muscles. You played high school sports. You played basketball. We didn't have to commit. Even though we were playing AAA or back when we were playing Tier 1, you could still be on the varsity basketball team and varsity volleyball team, and you could even play football, which was a little bit more demanding for time, but you could still play top-level hockey. And now I think coaches don't understand that as much. And I'm not saying they're wrong either, but...
Well, the peer pressure is unbelievable. You feel like, if I don't do what Johnny's doing, if my son's not doing what Johnny's doing, he's not going to make that team. The heat is on for these guys, and the pressure to put them in all these other, and we've always, your brother and I have always discussed, and same with us guys, about talking about they have to play another sport also. You got to get the enjoyment of everything. If you're an athlete, you are an athlete. It just happens.
Well, Kurt said it perfectly there. Enjoy. You said like off ice or summer. You used the word enjoy about 5 times there. Enjoy your buddies. Enjoy playing baseball. Don't start working out too early. If you're playing hockey, every day, all year round, you're going to start hating it, maybe, or at least not loving it.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. And that's, maybe an argument for college hockey, too. They have a little bit less grueling kind of schedule than maybe the CHL. And I think you see that in, the World Junior, for example. Like, look at how Team USA has been doing last couple of years versus Canada. So.
Yeah, you get to spend some time walking through the campus and letting all those girls realize that you're a hockey player.
You got the hockey flow going on. We want to thank Kurtis Keats for coming on the Fourth Line Hockey Show. Kurt, thanks for coming on. Fourth Line Hockey Show, we'll be right back, and we'll close it off with, conclusion with my winger here, Greg Haasbeek, and thanks, Kurtis Keats, for coming on the show. Having Kurtis Keats on the show, it was great having him on. It's always good to have these young bucks on and get the experience, playing in Winnipeg, now playing in BC.
Yeah, and I like the choice he took. He's pretty happy that he's got a Div 1 scholarship. He's going to get an education, and who knows? He could still improve. He could become the next Nathan Gerby, the next Gallagher. I remember when I went to go watch my nephew play and watching him, there was thoughts that he might be drafted in the NHL last year. He was definitely ranked. It never ended up happening. But, kids that they got to know that you can go through the MJHL. You can go through, obviously the WHL is definitely a higher league, but once you play in the W, you can't go to college hockey.
You're done. 1 minute, you are done.
So, obviously right now, the fact that he's got this scholarship now, he knows he made the right decision. He's got a year, he said, left in the BC, and then 4 years of college. Hopefully he makes something out of himself, and if not, he walks out with a first-class education.
And that, and we talk about that, and that's so important, right? Because we know, and we've seen it happen in the hockey world where guys, man, it can change by tomorrow. You get, you blow a knee, you blow something, you're done, you've got no education, and you know what? You're fighting back and trying to get into it.
Well, we know guys who are drafted 3rd overall.
Yeah.
Who aren't in the NHL, 5-6 years later. We know guys who weren't drafted at all,
Yeah.
who won 3 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams.
Yeah.
You got to continually get better. You know, just because you're good when you're 15 doesn't mean, if you're the best kid in the world at 15, doesn't mean you're going to play in the NHL.
Wow, we can name tons of guys who were
But,
studs at 18 and faded out.
I think, we learned a lot from him on, his move from Manitoba to BC, how scared he was at first. And, that could have been the ruin of him getting traded there. Could have been homesick. He could have played terrible. Could have quit hockey.
Yep, and it's so true, and that happens to players. They haven't been away from home; they've been always playing here, and all of a sudden, boom, it's shipped off. They can't cut the mustard, and they're coming back.
But you know what? I don't think that's the norm. I think the norm is, tough Canadian kid, good parents.
Yeah.
Parents will help him out. But is this the finale? Is this the last one of the season?
No, I don't think this is the last one of the season. I got a couple more. I think we're gonna pull out the old magic show.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Fourth Line Hockey Show. See you guys next week. We're out of here.
The Fourth Line Hockey Show has been brought to you by IceTraders.com, your online ice time connection. Royal Sports, 750 Pembina and 650 Raleigh. And Earl's Kitchen and Bar, Winnipeg.
The proceeding was an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.